They thought the war was over. The city is burning, lights flicker through the smoke, and sirens scream in the distance. Shadows move fast across crumbling buildings, and in the darkness, faces flash with rage and fear. Every street corner feels dangerous. Every alley hides a secret, and the sound of distant explosions shakes the ground beneath. The world of the Supes has never been more unpredictable. In this final season, no one is safe, and everyone has a score to settle. The first moments are all about chaos. We see the skyline at dusk, dark clouds rolling in, punctuated by the glow of fire and the flash of broken neon signs. Cars are overturned, and debris litters the streets. The camera moves quickly, a cinematic glide that shows the destruction, without revealing every detail. Then we cut to brief glimpses of familiar faces: Billy Butcher's clenched jaw, Hughie running through rain-slicked streets, Starlight staring at a horizon that seems to have no hope. Homelander's eyes flash with something dangerous, almost uncontainable. The tension is immediate, and the audience feels the pulse of danger in every frame. As the camera pans across the city, we see snippets of action: a helicopter crashing, a building shaking, civilians running for cover. There's a quick shot of a mysterious figure watching from above, their face hidden, hinting at new threats yet to be revealed. The sound design layers in low rumbles, sirens, and the faint echo of laughter, menacing, almost inhuman. It's a reminder that in this world, power is often terrifying, and no one is truly in control. The voiceover cuts in, soft but chilling. They thought it was over, but the real war is just beginning. Text fades in and out, emphasizing the words over and beginning, giving the audience a visual anchor for the stakes. Next, we shift to the characters in motion. Billy Butcher moves through a dimly lit street, rain pouring down, water reflecting the fires around him. His expression is cold, focused, and unforgiving. The camera switches rapidly between him and Hughie, who's more hesitant, eyes wide, adrenaline pumping, clearly facing fears he's never confronted before. Starlight appears in a moment of hesitation atop a rooftop, looking down at the chaos below, glowing softly in contrast to the destruction, hinting at her moral compass and inner conflict. Each character has their own mini-scene, giving the audience a sense of both personal stakes and the larger conflict. The music swells, a slow build at first, almost haunting, then sharper, with strings and the low drums kicking in, setting a heartbeat-like rhythm. Quick flashes show Homelander in action, yet not fully revealed, keeping the tension high. Text overlays appear in sync with the beats: allies, enemies, none safe. The voiceover punctuates each word with deliberate pauses. The montage speeds up slightly: broken glass, smoke, fires, figures running, hands reaching for weapons, flashes of superpowers, and hints of betrayal. The audience is drawn into the chaos, feeling the danger, uncertainty, and tension that define the world of the boys. Finally, the first section begins to settle into a moment of quiet before the next wave of action. The camera lingers on a rooftop shot, looking over the burning city, silhouetted figures watching, planning, waiting. The voiceover whispers again: the final season has begun. Every choice, every secret will change everything. The text lingers on screen for a beat, the final season, before fading out slowly, leaving the viewer on edge, desperate to see what happens next. The city hasn't calmed, and neither have the people who inhabit it. Shadows stretch across the streets as new players emerge, each carrying secrets and intentions that could shift the balance of power. Close-up glimpses show the flicker of determination in Hughie's eyes as he navigates alleyways, every step cautious, every glance over his shoulder weighted with fear. Rain pours down, washing over debris and broken glass, reflecting the chaos like shards of a shattered mirror. Every corner feels like a trap. Even familiar faces appear unpredictable. The lines between friend and foe blur. Starlight's glow flickers in the darkness, a small beacon of hope amid a city that feels ready to collapse under its own corruption. Meanwhile, Billy Butcher moves like a predator through the shadows. His face is partially hidden, muscles tense, Jaw set, every movement calculated, he pauses for a split second, eyes scanning the chaos around him, and the camera cuts to Homelander observing from above, powerful and imposing, wings spread, eyes glowing faintly as he surveys the city below. The tension is palpable, a silent battle of wills. The audience sees their conflict through quick, fragmented shots, a fist hitting a wall, a glare exchanged. The subtle twitch of a finger near a weapon. No words are spoken, yet the stakes are. Clear every action has consequences, and no one can trust anyone. As the sequence unfolds, we see flashes of destruction intertwined with personal struggle. Buildings crumble under explosions, and people scatter in panic. Yet in the middle of the chaos, private moments reveal vulnerability. Hughie hesitates before confronting a foe. Starlight questions the right path, and Butcher's past appears in fleeting memories, reminding viewers why he fights with such intensity. The editing is sharp, almost disorienting. Rapid cuts between the macro-level chaos of the city and the micro-level human emotions of each character. Distorted audio underscores the tension. Sirens, shattering glass, and distant cries mixed with low, pulsing music that mirrors the heartbeat of the city. New threats begin to surface. A shadowy figure watches from a rooftop, the face obscured, but the stance menacing. Quick flashes reveal glimpses of other superpowered individuals, their motives unclear, their powers lethal. The camera catches hints of betrayal, a character moving stealthily, exchanging coded messages. Another corner revealing someone who was trusted moments before, now holding a weapon. Text overlays punctuate the tension. Trust nitrogen monoxide one. Every secret exposed. The city will pay. The voiceover matches these words with deliberate pauses, enhancing suspense. Each line dripping with foreboding. In this section, the action is not just physical but psychological. Each character is tested, forced to confront moral dilemmas, shifting alliances, and the growing threat of a world spiraling into chaos. The audience sees the strain on Starlight's face as she hesitates to act. Hughie's hands tremble as he makes decisions that could mean life or death, and Butcher's relentless drive pushing him toward confrontation at any cost. Even Homelander's calm exterior feels like a mask cracking under pressure. The city itself becomes a character, dark, dangerous, unpredictable. Every alleyway, rooftop, and broken street corner holds potential for confrontation or betrayal. The section closes with a montage of rising stakes, quick flashes of combat, close-ups of eyes filled with determination or fear, explosions that ripple through the cityscape, and subtle hints of the season's central conflicts. The music crescendos, mixing high strings and low drums, layering tension with anticipation. The voiceover whispers, the battle lines are drawn, allies will falter, enemies will strike. And every choice will change the war. Text appears. Briefly, the stakes have never been higher, lingering just long enough to imprint on the audience's mind as the screen fades to the next sequence. The tension hangs thick, an unspoken promise that the chaos is only escalating, and the real danger has yet to arrive. The chaos of the city escalates into full-blown conflict. Streets erupt with fire and smoke as soups clash in bursts of power that shake everything around them. Cars flip, buildings shudder, and shattered glass reflects flashes of lightning and gunfire. The camera sweeps dynamically through the destruction, moving between intense close-ups of characters and wide shots of the battlefield. Billy Butcher's movements are precise and relentless. He navigates the chaos like a storm, punching, dodging, and striking with calculated force. Rain mixes with blood and ash dripping from his brow, each frame a testament to his single-minded determination. Hughie, more vulnerable but equally resolute, struggles to keep up, dodging debris while attempting to protect innocents caught in the crossfire. Every glance, every hesitation emphasizes the stakes and the weight of their fight. Amid the chaos, Starlight takes to the rooftops, her glow illuminating the darkness as she launches controlled bursts of energy at incoming threats. Her face is a mixture of fear and resolve, aware of the destruction she causes yet unwilling to let the innocent suffer. Quick cuts highlight her powers in motion, blasts of light shattering concrete, sparks igniting. From impact and enemies. Flung backward with force, the camera alternates between her point of view, scanning for threats, and wide shots of the city's devastation, emphasizing both her heroism and the overwhelming scale of the battle. Text overlays punctuate each sequence. Power unleashed, no mercy. The city falls. The voiceover punctuates these moments with deliberate emphasis, mirroring the rapid cadence of the action. Every strike counts. Every move matters. Survival is never guaranteed. Homelander dominates from above, flying through the smoky skies, his expression unreadable but terrifying. Lightning arcs across his eyes as he engages both enemies and those who were once allies, leaving chaos in his wake. Quick flashes show the aftermath: twisted metal, broken windows, and terrified civilians fleeing the scene. The sound design is layered and relentless, thunderous impacts, shattering glass, distant screams, and the low hum of superpowered energy. The pacing is fast, almost disorienting, keeping the viewer. Amid the chaos of the city, the human side of this battle begins to surface. The carnage isn't just physical, it's personal. Faces that moments ago were determined or angry now flicker with fear, doubt, or heartbreak. Hughie's hands shake as he surveys the aftermath of a brutal fight, his gaze landing on something familiar turned unrecognizable. The rain-soaked streets reflect broken neon lights, turning the city into a fractured mirror of the world they are fighting to protect. Every choice weighs heavily, and the audience feels it in each slow, lingering shot. The hesitation, the internal struggle, the fear of crossing lines that may never be undone. Billy Butcher's resolve begins to crack under the weight of the seasoned stakes. In a dimly lit room, he pauses, fists clenched at his sides, staring at a wall of memories, photos, mementos, reminders of what he's lost and what he risks losing. The camera lingers on the tension in his jaw, the twitch of his hand, and the subtle narrowing of his eyes. Each frame tells a story of vengeance and moral conflict, showing that the war isn't only about power, it's about redemption, loyalty, and the consequences of choices made in the heat of anger. The voiceover whispers, almost mournfully, every victory comes at a cost, and every cost leaves a scar. Text appears briefly on screen. Sacrifice is inevitable. Starlight's inner struggle is just as visible. She stands atop a high rooftop, rain falling in steady sheets, the city sprawling below her. Her glowing hands tremble slightly, reflecting both the light of her powers and the uncertainty in her heart. Flashbacks briefly overlaid the framed faces of innocents she has saved, friends betrayed, allies lost, reminding viewers of the weight on her shoulders. Every choice she makes now could tip the balance, and the camera captures her hesitation. Every flicker of doubt magnified by tight close-ups on her eyes and lips. The text overlay reads, "How far would you go?" echoing the moral questions that define her arc this season. Meanwhile, Hughie faces a moral crossroads, cornered by an adversary with a weapon drawn. He hesitates, frozen for a heartbeat that feels like an eternity. The camera lingers on his internal conflict, to fight, to run, or to negotiate. The rain glistens on his face, highlighting both vulnerability and courage. Quick flashes show memories of friends lost, promises broken, and lessons learned the hard way. Each cut, each subtle zoom emphasizes that this battle is as much about internal courage as external strength. Voiceover underscores the tension. The hardest battles are fought inside, where fear meets resolve. Even Homelander's moments of vulnerability are teased, though carefully obscured to maintain his menace. We see a brief close-up of his eyes flickering with doubt, a hesitation, before unleashing his full power, a fleeting human moment hidden beneath the mask of godlike authority. The juxtaposition of raw emotion against raw power heightens the dramatic stakes. Text overlays punctuate these moments. Strength can be fragile, power can be lonely, leaving viewers aware that even the seemingly untouchable carry invisible burdens. The section also hints at betrayal and revelation. Rapid cuts show shadowy figures exchanging secret messages, eyes narrowing in suspicion, and fleeting confrontations that suggest alliances may crumble. The editing is deliberate, quick enough to create tension, slow enough to allow viewers to absorb the gravity of each emotional beat. The music follows suit, a haunting, low-pitched hum that rises in volume during moments of high tension, then softens during personal, introspective beats, creating an ebb and flow of emotion that mirrors the story's rhythm. As the sequence reaches its peak, the audience is treated to a montage of emotional highs and lows, close-ups of tearful eyes, fists gripping weapons, silent standoffs, and faces filled with determination. The voiceover delivers a chilling line. In a world without rules, your heart becomes the weapon you can't control. Text overlays reinforce the stakes. Every decision, every secret, every sacrifice. The camera pans across the city one last time before fading into darkness, leaving a lingering sense of unease and anticipation. The emotional weight settles, preparing viewers for the final surge of action that will follow in the next section. The city descends into its final crescendo of chaos. Flames lick the edges of broken skyscrapers, smoke rolls across shattered streets, and debris scatters as explosions echo like thunder. Every character is in motion, every decision carrying consequences that could tip the scale of this final war. Billy Butcher charges through a collapsing alleyway, his expression set in unyielding determination, muscles straining as he confronts enemies on all sides. Each swing of his fists lands with brutal impact, sending foes flying, yet every action is calculated. Hughie follows closely, adrenaline coursing through his veins, dodging falling rubble, narrowly avoiding death at every turn. Their movements are mirrored with rapid cuts, alternating between close-ups and wide shots to capture both the intensity of personal struggle and the overwhelming scale of destruction. Starlight soars above the carnage, her powers flaring with unprecedented brilliance. Blasts of radiant energy tear through enemy lines, illuminating the darkness with flashes of hope. Her face, streaked with rain and sweat, reflects both the weight of responsibility and the urgency of survival. Quick montage shots reveal her targeting strategic threats, protecting civilians in fleeting moments, and standing defiantly against seemingly impossible odds. The camera captures the kinetic energy of her attacks, the rippling shockwaves, shards of debris suspended midair, and the glow of light reflecting off shattered surfaces. Text overlays appear in sync with each strike. Power unleashed, heroes rise, the final showdown. The voiceover punctuates the tension with deliberate rhythm. When the end comes, there is no turn. Back, high above the city, Homelander dominates the skyline, moving with terrifying precision. Lightning dances in his eyes as he confronts both allies and adversaries alike. The air vibrates with the sound of his power, a low hum punctuated by explosive bursts that shake the ground below. Rapid cuts show the aftermath of his encounters, crumbling buildings, twisted metal, and terrified civilians fleeing the chaos. Shadows of new antagonists emerge in the background, figures previously unseen, revealing powers and intentions that keep the audience questioning loyalties. Text flashes. Nitrogen monoxide when is safe. Alliances crumble, reinforcing the mounting stakes as every confrontation escalates into life-or-death decisions, interspersed between large-scale combat. Intimate moments of personal stakes continue to surface. Hughie hesitates for a heartbeat before taking a critical shot, a choice that could save a life or end one. Starlight's eyes flicker as she decides whether to unleash her full power. Knowing the destruction it may cause, Butcher confronts someone from his past, a face filled with betrayal, and the tension lingers in the silence before the fight resumes. These moments, juxtaposed against wide shots of citywide destruction, remind viewers that even in the chaos of war, human emotion drives every decision, every risk, and every act of courage or vengeance. The climax builds into a relentless montage. Explosions, superpowered clashes, and citywide destruction flash across the screen in quick succession. Faces of all major characters, determined, angry, fearful, are captured in cinematic close-ups. Rain and fire mix on the streets, reflecting the chaos of both nature and conflict. Weapons clash, fists strike, and powers collide with explosive force. Text overlays punctuate the action. The final battle. Every choice matters. The city will decide. The voiceover grows. Urgent, almost a shout over the roaring music. The war ends now. Only the strongest survive. Only the ruthless prevail. As the montage reaches its peak, the pace slows for a fraction of a second. A single moment of stillness. A rooftop shot frames the city from above, burning and fractured. Silhouetted figures standing against the glow of destruction. The camera lingers on each major character in brief slow-motion frames. Butcher gripping a weapon, Hughie wide-eyed but determined, Starlight glowing with resolve, and Homelander poised with menacing authority. The tension hangs in the air, every second amplified by a low, droning sound that makes the silence feel heavy and dangerous. Then, text fades in boldly. The final season begins. The final beats of the section focus on the call to action. Cinematic black screens punctuated by the Prime Video logo appear, accompanied by subtle, echoing sound effects that feel like the last heartbeat before the storm. Text overlays. Streaming soon. Only on Prime Video. The music swells. One last time grand, intense, and unrelenting, then drops to silence. In the final frame, a lingering shot of the city at night, flames still flickering, smoke drifting, leaves the audience with anticipation, tension, and an unspoken promise. Everything is about to change, and nothing will ever be the same.